Hello everybody and welcome to round 4, I think. Yep, 4 of GRC season 12. My name is Simon Smith, and as ever on cameras we have the fantastic Simon Mahuish, who will be guiding us through the next 90 odd minutes or so of high octane action. Today we've got the anomaly. It's the endurance race. Oh yes. As if endurance wasn't already the buzzword this weekend, we've gone for the endurance race here for GRC round the excellent Livet Glen circuit. And of course, we are always indebted to our wonderful sponsor, IP Forge. Okay, so we're just moving forward to the qualifying session in the next couple of minutes. Quite a lot of people have got weights here today, and I'll just take you through them now. We've got Runo Muru, who's got 49 kilograms added on. Borna Spoliaric has got 46. Martina Sidnovas, 34. Martin Palm, 33 kilos. George Talbot, 32. Randu Muru, 14. Ildra Bricalo, 12. Scott Woodwis, Melvin Garland, Ryan Mayfield, Carl Shaw, Yuri Luckermans, Alan Coutinho, I don't see him here today, Whoopke Hoekstra, Rickard Helston, Ben Warren and Oscar Hardwick and Ryan Walker all have 10 kilograms added because they are new people in for the second part of this season. Manuel Gexella has 9 and Adrian McNaughton has 2. Here we are moving forward to this qualifying session in this old wee Scottish circuit. I won't believe that accent coming from someone who's got a Scottish father. Never mind, eh? As always, 10-minute qualifying session. This time though, instead of it going for fastest finger first, we've got race fuel. And of course with the endurance race, there's the potential of a strategic call here. Do you go for 1 stop, 2 stop? Don't think 3 is particularly part of the plan, but you could in theory go for it. Let's see who's first out there at the moment. Looking to me like it may well be could be Oscar Hardwick actually down in P28. Indeed it is, P28, Oscar Hardwick coming across the start-finish line to get himself off and away. And let's see exactly how he does. A bit wide into the turn there. What I find with the Livet Glen circuit is that there's quite a lot of different corners that seem to mean that you will attack the curbs and hold on to the curbs. And that seems to spit the car out quite a lot. There we go, there he is coming across the start finish line, sorry, my apologies. Off and away he goes. Ignore the turn off to the right as I forgot to do in my first out lap here, and then driving down into the chicane for turns 1 and 2, and this right hand turn just goes on and on and on and on and on and on forever. Real tyre killer, potentially, around the outside. I see a lot of people struggling with the bumps that go around this circuit, where you constantly change from different types of tarmacs, from different layouts around this circuit. And as you can see, Oscar going way out wide and getting a bit of a wiggle on. Won't help his cause no end. New man here for GRC this weekend, setting some impressive times on his debut. And as you can see, really attacking some of the curbs on the outside. I've seen people hit the curbs on the outside here and really struggle to get the car back from it. But Oscar keeping it well clear. He comes down the back straight into the next couple of corners. Very technical. So far it's not looking bad at all. A couple of hanging out of the rears, but he's kept it all together. There's one more kink left to go. Seems to be so many more right turns compared to left. I know that sounds like a thick one for a clockwise circuit, but that does seem quite right-hander happy, and a 125.420 sets him up for provisional pole at the moment. Whoopke Hoekstra does a 127.7, and Ehab Abbas does a 125.9. So followed by Paul Joseph in a 126.5. So plenty of cars going well. Mark Jones in coming round to the final couple of bends for Dura Racing. As he comes down the back straight, he was up on Oscar by sector 2. Let's see what he's doing around these last couple of corners. I think the fact that this track is very much a tyre and grip killer, I think this will definitely play into drivers who can work the car in nice, smooth, steady steering motions so that you can survive longer. And that indeed pops Mark into provisional pole of a 125.378, 43 thousandths faster than Hardwick, and that will do him nicely. As who's that popping through? Martin Palm popping into P4, Liam Fassen pops in P7 there, and I think that's the first wave of cars out there, although Stephen Boniface has just spun it off, although he's already done his time. He's 13th, just behind Paul Huggett. The battle of the wooden spoons towards the back of the field there. Who else have we got out and about at the moment? Looks like Ilja Bracalo down in 20th is just gearing himself up for a lap. Definitely there's qualifying sessions. Oh, is that someone not quite facing the right way either there, but never mind. Ilja Bracalo, P20, just coming around the last couple of corners. It does seem to be very much a two-tiered qualifying session here today. We've got the top 12 or 13 going straight out and Group 2 following on behind. Carlo currently sitting 7th overall in the championship, behind Borna Spogliarek, who currently leads the championship ahead of Martinus Sidnovus, not Martina. My God, turned him into a female tennis player by the end of that. Across the line goes Ilja. Let's see what he can do. He's got George Talbot to contend with, who's on his outlap just in front of him. Hopefully they'll all keep out of each other's way quite nicely. And you can see completely different lines as George gets well off track. Stuart Fleming also just doing his lap just behind there. And ooh, a little bit of locking braking from Bracalo. He's keeping it all together just for now. Just under 4 minutes left of this qualifying session. The rules there for GRC, especially for this race as well, is it was just taking a much tighter line than some of the others. You can have all 4 wheels potentially on a curb so long as they all fit, but as soon as you stick more than 2 wheels over those racing white lines, you're in trouble. But he's not looking too bad here. It was just a 7 thousandths down. That would slot him on the front row, but it's all to play for around these last couple of corners. What can he do? One more kink to the right to go, and across the line will come Ilja. Mark Jones the time to beat currently, and he slots into 2nd position, 19 thousandths down, just getting sandwiched between Mark Jones and Oscar Hardwick. Stuart Fleming pops in 11th in their newly designed team core. They've had enough of all of our jokes in the commentary booth. They've gone for the old Scottish Iron Brew liveries. Hopefully that will give them a little bit of strength come the race day itself. Got George Talbot currently just started his hot lap. Reno Murs not too far ahead, and Jan Hack's not too far behind. George all at the front at Adelaide, but was heavily criticised by myself really for his argy-bargy antics. As Mark McNaughton pops in at 11th there. Let's see what George is up to. Running a little bit wide out onto the back straight. It's left him just 6 tenths down now as he comes into the last couple of corners. And let's see him popping out onto the final couple of curves. What is it going to stick him? It's potentially still a top 5-6 position, 6th place for him in the end there, 9 tenths down, just under a second. And that's him done. Aside from that, Union Motorsport sees the return for Ryan Walker. His first race here. Must be smelling the old haggis coming out. But good to see him back on track for GRC. Who was that? That was Jan Hack just popping in 16th behind Melvin Garland. And here comes Ryan across the line. That pops in 12th at the moment. Not bad, 2.7 down. There's kind of a one big 1 second window there between Martin Jones and Liam Fassam, which Ryan's nicely nestled himself in. Got Gagzella in P25 coming round the last couple of corners. See what he puts it in before we switch to Spoljaric, who's a few corners behind him. Gagzella across the line second, 7 tenths down behind Tom Ely, who's absolutely smashed everything. As let's pop to 23, Borna Spoljaric. Let's see what he's up to. Running a little bit wide. I think obviously he's got more weight than a big old truck of Snuggles. Around the last couple of corners, let's see what's going to happen here. It's one of those tracks I think where weight really comes into effect. So 6th position for him, just a second down, 2 thousandths behind Oscar Hardwick. I think that just leaves Adrian McNaughton. And he's not looking too bad at all. He could well push Borna down another position. Well, he's looking a little bit wary on the exit there. He's got Carl Shaw just up in front of him though. Sorry, no, it's Gagzella. I think Carl Shaw has failed to get round his lap, but never mind. Here comes Adrian, just passing teammate Gagzella. The Storm Racing. And that's not worked out well in that middle sector. He's dropped behind. He does seem to be slightly overdriving the car a little bit around some of these corners, but he's straightening up nice for the final kink. And let's see what this brings Adrian. Only one McNaughton. Oh no, Mark McNaughton is 16th. Adrian goes in 8th, so he wins the Battle of the Brothers. That will do him nicely. Carl Shaw failed to complete his lap. Tyron Frith pops in 21st, and that's your lot. So it's Tom Ely there, 7 tenths of a second faster than everyone else for Nocturne Racing. Pops it straight into pole position for that. Gagzella will be alongside him. In a while since we've seen him right up the sharp end, followed by Mark Jones, Ilja Picalo, Oscar Hardwick, Borna Spoljaric, a saving 6th, Ehab Bass 7, Adrian McNaughton 8, George Talbot 9, and Paul Joseph rounds out the top 10 for Union Motorsport. Martin Palm may be somewhere in there actually. He left the server before qualifying was finished, so I'm sure he's in that top 10 somewhere along the line. But as we say, 42 laps around this circuit. You're going to have to pit for fuel because the tanks don't take it. There are of course different strategies that people can take. You can tank it all up and go one stopping, which is pretty much how I'd like to do these endurance races when they popped up. See how you get on. However, you could go light and go for 2 and try and get round with fresher tyres. It just really depends on how you tackle this circuit and what your driving style is like. Okay, so we're just coming through to the final couple of seconds of warm-up. Best of luck to all the drivers here today. Apologies if I disappear at some point during the broadcast. I'll blame Takeaway Bingo for that.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now?
Don't forget, you can join us over at rfgrc.co.uk for all of that shindiggery. And of course I've got a simrace.tv chat room where I will be in 2 seconds to have a good old natter with anyone that's on the broadcast. Okay, so off on the formation lap, we've got Tom Ely in pole position for the Nocturne team. Second on the grid is Emmanuel Gaxella for Storm Racing. Third on the grid will be Mark Jones for Azure. Fourth is Ilja Bracalo for Torrent Motorsport Mobile. Fifth is Oscar Hardwick for what will be Storm Racing. Sixth on the grid will be Borna Spoljaric for Torrent Motorsport IP Forge. 7th on the grid will be Ehab Abbas. 8th on the grid will be Adrian McNaughton for Storm. 9th, Martin Palm for Toronto Motorsport IP Forge. And 10th, George Talbot for 05 Motorsports. Oh, there are a couple of disqualifyings. Not sure what's going on there, but never mind. 11th, Paul Joseph for Union Motorsports. Followed by 12th, James Ross as an independent. 13th will be Reino Muru in Storm, way down after his huge weight penalty. Then Union Motorsport drivers of Martin Jones 14 and Ryan Walker 15th. We might be going for a restart here. There's a few people that have been disqualified on the start. We'll see what happens. There we go. Heard a few people had a little bit of a drama with a pressing go to grid, but there we go. So let's see what's going to go on. There we go, moving just forward to the race again now. Hopefully everyone will be able to sort themselves out this time. This is looking a little bit better. There we go, we're off and away again. I shall continue on from the grid, from wherever we were before. There's the Union Motorsport drivers in 14th and 15th. Liam Fassen is in 16th for Redline Sim Sport. Looks like a new livery for them. Then Wubke Hoekstra is 17th, making his debut here today. Followed by Mark McNaughton in 18th, second of the McNaughton duo. Team Core sporting their new livery. I'll try and make as many jokes as I can, but it's not as fun as the other one, Stuart. So yeah, apologies there. Red Bull does sometimes chase like a Stuart Fleming. I like a Red Bull actually. A Red Bull. Oh my god. Iron Brew. So I am Scottish Jew, I'm with you there. Melvin Garland, 20th for Redline, Touring Sport. 21st, Jan Hack, a Duo Racing, Team BMW. Tyrone Frith for TTF, 22nd on the grid. Yuri Luckermans, making his debut for Redline Touring Sport in 23rd. PPR Rockstars, Paul Huggett, 24th. 25th for Stephen Bonifast for Kennet Racing. And 26th, also making his debut, is Carl Shaw for Redline Sim Sport. Have we lost someone? I'm sure he's on 27 beforehand. Never mind. That's who we got. And they're just making themselves around the final couple of corners now as they start to line themselves up. That looked like Gagzella had overshot his pit box and had to reverse back a little bit there. We shall soon see. Everyone slowly starting to form up on the back. So, for the first time of asking this year, we're up for an endurance fest. 42 laps, pit stops are plenty, and this pit lane is a tricky one. Just exactly who will still be here? Someone needs to sort out how to go in the grid box. Here we are, we're ready to go now. Here come the lights, and we are racing for the endurance round of GRC. Ely's got away well, as has Gagzella. Those two have almost pulled away from Bracalo and Jones, who are side by side for 3 and 4. Spoliaric's past Oscar Hardwick already for 5 and 6 as they reach into the chicane. Is everyone being nice to each other? It looks like it, to be fair. That looked like one of the green cars had gone way down the field. So it's George Talbot facing the wrong way. And he's dropped down to 26th and last position. That's not helped him out one little bit at all, but he's going to get back going again, albeit very slowly, and that's left him with an awful lot of work to do at the beginning of this race. Tom Healy currently leads then from Gagzella, Mark Jones, Bracalo, Spoljaric, Hardwick, McNaughton, Palm, Abbas and Rainer Muru's then up to somewhere along the line. It was Wupke Hoekstra has also gone off in 25th position, so Talbot and Hoekstra are our two problems cars. Mark McNaughton's dropped down to 19th as well, so that's not helped him out one end. Still Ely, Gagzella, Jones, Bracalo, Spoljaric, Rainer Muru's just passed Ehab Abbas, who's had a terrible exit out of the final turn and is now down in 10th position. About to have Martin Jones dive up the inside in one of the many Union Motorsport cars. Martin Palm has also run out wide, and Rainer Muru, despite having all the fat added onto the car like some kind of Vanessa Feltz look-alike, he's suddenly up to 8th position as they come across the start-finish line. It's Tom Healy leading by 6/10 from Gagzella. Mark Jones in a very nifty third, ahead of Bracalo, Spoljaric, who's got Hardwick all over the back of him. Adrian McNaughton sits in 7, then Rainer Muru's got Palm and Abbas all over the back of him with Martin Jones. Then Ryan Walker up to 12, Paul Joseph, Liam Fassam, Jan Hack, Stuart Fleming, Mark McNaughton, James Ross there, a big loser on the start. I saw him running out wide in turn 1. Tyrone Frith up to 19, Melvin Garland. Then we've got quite a few. Paul Huggett in the pits from 25th, and Carl Shaw's in the barriers in 26th. As there is Mark Jones under attack from Ilja Bracalo, and Borna Spoljaric's under attack from Oscar Hardwick just behind him. Borna running out wide. He's looking suspiciously under threat in P5. Hardwick takes a little pokey nose out, but nothing doing round there. And yeah, Carl Shaw out before the first lap is up with a crash into the barrier. So that's our first retirement. And George Talbot's off the track again in 21st position, so not quite sure what's going on there. As here comes Ilja Bracalo once again all over the back of Mark Jones, and Mark Jones pushes out wide, and that's not going to help at all as they go side by side. He's got the inside line for the next corner, but Bracalo is going to have a real trouble trying to hold on to the outside, and he's onto the grass, and that's going to allow Spoljaric to have a go around the outside, and that's going to not be a good move at all, because that's going to allow Hardwick a go, because this long right-hander is going to ensure that Spoljaric is kept to the outside, and Hardwick will have a go back through again. Indeed he does. Spoljaric pulls out of it, drops back to 6th position. You can't do the old switcheroo back through there, and that will push him down to 6th place. He was saying beforehand that he will struggle to get a top 6 here, owing to all his weight and the way how the car reacts here to weight. As you can see, Tom Healy, who has none, flying off into the distance, already more than a second clear of Gagzella. And then Jones has got Bracalo once again back all over him as they come across the back straight. Jones once again very good at taking the inside line, but that's not going to help. That was a very tardy exit. He's kept holding on to the racing line, being able to block everything quite nicely as they come round the next couple of corners. One more kink to go, and then we've got people flying out of the final turn, and that is Bracalo about to have another go at Jones. Jones is not feeling the need to go defensive down into turn 1. He's gone in too deep, as is Bracalo. But Mark Jones there, not quite getting the whole get back onto the track as quick as can, and through goes Hardwick, through goes Spoljaric, through's going to go Adrian McNaughton if he's not careful. McNaughton trying to go the long way around the outside. He's got much better momentum, and Mark Jones goes from 3rd to 7th in one fell swoop. And that was too busy looking in his mirrors, and they almost threw each other off there. There was big smoke going on behind that. Ehab Abbas then just missing out on Rainer Muru. Martin Palm's got round him for 8th and 9th positions. That's not going to have helped him at all. Bracalo's not been able to make a burst free though from Oscar Hardwick in about 3rd and 4th, and down the inside goes Oscar as he tries to have a go at the podium slot. Bracalo hangs it on round the outside. Good driving by Ilja Bracalo. as he continues onwards. Paul Huggett has rejoined the track a lap down after his long pit stop now, so he's very much out of the running as Riccardo, Hardwick, Spoljaric and McNaughton continue on their paths. Mark Jones in a recovering 7. They're kind of being joined now by Palm, Muru and Abbas, which is going to make an absolutely fantastic train of cars, and you can see them all snaking around. Riccardo getting a little bit of breathing space. That's something that Hardwick's not going to get, because here comes Borna Spoljaric, pulls out to the inside line, but that is not going to work at all. So many different lines you can take around this opening chicane around this circuit. So it's very hard to kind of determine exactly which is the quickest, because each driver has its own little way of doing it. Mark McNaughton and George Talbot smacking each other for 16th and 17th positions. Both have kept going though, as that is Luckermans going off the track as well, and that is Georgie Porge getting the rude on again, as he always tends to be, and once again not particularly sportsmanlike behaviour. I don't know if he finds that fun or not, but I certainly don't. Next up for him to be abusing is Lee Fassam, and in fact he's nearly spearing off the circuit. I've seen quite a lot of people do that with that type of thing beforehand. Similarly, just behind them, 18th and 19th, they said they'd be battling all race, but Tyrone Frith and Melvin Garland having a good old scrap. So good luck to them for getting into the points in the top 20 positions. Back up front though, Hardwick and Spoljaric 4, 5, and Adrian McNaughton, who's faring much better than Mark, in 6. Continue their scrapperoo for 4, 5, 6. Across the line to start lap 6 of 42. And that's not going to help at all, and if anything that's going to put Borna onto his back step as they come around some of these tight yet elongated corners. Plenty of locked up smoke there. Just behind, still got Jones, Palm, Muru and Abbas. And then Martin Jones for Union Motorsports has kind of now clung onto the back of this, and just 2 seconds further back, or 3 further back, sorry, is Ryan Walker slowly closing in too. So they're all starting to hold each other up somewhat. So watch out for the feisty Scot. He may find himself going on. Jan Hack's all on his own in 13, ahead of Liam Fassam and Mark McNaughton. George Talbot's been off the track again, down to 16, ahead of Stuart Fleming. And Yuri Luckermans has just retired for Redline Touring Sport. He was already 1.5 laps down, so I don't think he was going very well. As that is Borna having a go at Hardwick once again for 4th and 5th position, side by side the two are. They've been driving very fair so far. And this is the type of not bad at all for Borna as they come across the start-finish line, poor guy. As lap 6 is completed, lap 7 we are on to. Borna feeling much better, having a go onto the curbs round into turn 1s and 2s. The way how his weight is distributed in the car, it does seem to just give him slightly different lines, I think, and he's locking up his brakes a lot more often, I suppose. But yeah, it's working quite nicely, as once again he harries the back of Hardwick. Riccardo's pulling away, he's got nearly 2.5 seconds advantage over this battling duo, and that's going to be all good for him. Ely has still got Gagzella just 3 seconds behind him as his Spoljaric pulling out to have a go. Hardwick is squeezing him, but he's going to have to yield potentially. Spoljaric goes through into 4th position for the time being. He's run out wide again, and this is exactly what happened last time round, and Hardwick does the old switcheroo. Back through he goes into 4th position as these two continue to battle to their wits' end. Hardwick wrestles the car back in, and Spoljaric finds which way he's going to have a go down into turn 1 again. Adrian McNaughton just keeping a watching brief, hoping that it all goes wrong. Spoljaric pulls out. His intent is known this time round, as they come flying into the chicane, but there's nothing doing there because Hardwick has a much later braking point into that chicane than what Spoljárik's tighter racing line is. Someone's just swapped positions. Oh, so you have Abbas and Reina Muru have clashed each other down into the chicane. They're both off the track, 10 and 11th position. Let's see what's happened there. Abbas was having a go at Muru. Oh, and they both just ran in deep and synchronised spin off. That's superb. I tell you what, if that was in some kind of figure skating contest, I'd have given them 10 out of 10 for synchronisation. Very, and that was a good old inter-team spin around. What it has done though is give Union Motorsports a 9 and 10 with Martin Jones and Ryan Walker, so that's worked itself out well for them. This lap round, Hardwick has a gap over Spoljárek, who's still got Adrian McNaughton, Mark Jones and Martin Palm just keeping a little watch behind. They're dropping Martin Jones now that the battle is starting to sort itself out with them. What else is going on? Oh, great battle going on for 18th, 19th and 20th. Paul Joseph's been in some trouble somewhere because he was a lot higher up the order than what he was. He's got Tyrone Frith for TTF just ahead of him. He's got James Ross, who done very well last time out, just behind him. And that's Mel Garland having a go as well. Oh, who's that off the track? Oh, it was Tyrone Frith going off the track and dropping down to 21st position as the leaders or leading group battling for 4th, 5th and 6th continue round again. Still got 24 people going. Stephen Boniface and Paul Huggett both 1 lap down. It'll be interesting to see what strategies people are going to be taking on. I'd imagine maybe a lot of people will be going for the floor it and hope for the best, although Mark Jones, they're nearly spearing it off into the barriers as I was clicking on him in 9th position. He's kept it all going though. As Oscar Hardwick, given some breathing space, has started to reel in Ilja Bracalo, who's not managed to get away, and the gap between them now down to 1.1 seconds. Spoljárek is just keeping McNaughton, Jones and Palm at bay. Something tells me Martin Palm would do well out of the dirty air of those 2 cars in front of him. In the chat room, Dave Carl-Smith has just popped in. Can we have a 24-hour race at the Nordschleife with these cars? Hell to the yes. If I was ever to do another 24-hour race, it would probably be with these. Awesome cars, awesome mod. Tom Ely though, still up front, leading by just 2.3 seconds now, and that's because they've had to negotiate Paul Huggett to be lapped for a second time. Stephen Boniface has just crashed out with suspension failure from 23rd place. That drops us down to just 23 runners and riders remaining. And that is Borna Spoljárek ahead of Oscar, who's gone off the track. Oscar in 5th position, flying around the place, and he's down to 8th now. I didn't see quite what happened there. He'd lost it before they'd come out of the big old chicane. It was almost like he forgot to turn off into one of those corners. Not quite sure what happened there, but that has now allowed Martin Palm to get onto the back of Mark Jones, and he's having a go for 6th and 7th positions. Martin Jones, 2 wheels on the curbs, allowed to do that. Sorry, Martin Jones. I've started to mate the 2 drivers all together, and Palm going round the outside, rudely chopping across, but just about within his rights, as does Mark Jones. Come back through again, side by side the 2 go round the last couple of kinks off the lap. And wow, Mark Jones doing very well to hold that one off as Martin Palm continues to hassle the back of the Adura Racing car. Oh, Martin Palm off onto the grass down the straight. It's never going to be the quickest way to get round a car if you're kicking up some kitty litter. And round they go. And that's allowed Oscar Hardwick to have another go. Excuse me, back through again. Oh, don't throw up, Simon, it's not that exciting. Oh. Still up front. Tom Ely now 3.5 seconds clear of Gakzella, so that traffic didn't work out as well from him. Bracalo is now safe from Borna Spoljárek, but Spoljárek's now safe from McNaughton and Jones as Oscar Hardwick slides past Martin Palm. And he's suddenly up into 7th position, remembering that there is a turn there now. All of this has allowed Martin Jones to slowly catch back onto the rear of this group, although that group of cars has now managed to do something. As onwards we continue to go. Ryan Walker sitting in 10th position has got Rainer Mura and Ehab Abbas starting to attack him with the spinning top Storm Racing cars, now looking like they really want to have a go at each other. Although, let's switch back to 5, 6 and 7, they've all just had to negotiate Paul Huggett, and that's going to allow Adrian McNaughton his first go back to get past Mark Jones, who was blocked earlier on. McNaughton goes down, they've just about hanging on around the chicane. Hardwick's going to try and go round the outside. Palm just not quite sure where to go because there's not enough room for everyone, and McNaughton clings on round the inside. Hardwick pushed to the outside, has not quite got the racing line there, and in fact he's almost wrong-sighted there, and that's left him very much exposed to Martin Palm. Didn't work out well at all, and that's... ooh, they all kind of continue to fly through. Fantastic action by these top guys here. Further back, George Talbot's just overtaken Jan Hack for 13th and 14th position, so that's him ascending the order just about there. Mark Jones running out a little bit wide around the final couple of turns, but Adrian McNaughton is the man that now looks most under pressure as Hardwick continues his reascension back up the field. Rainer Murray has just passed Ryan Walker for 10th and 11th too. There's a Storm Racing guys trying to negotiate the feisty Scotsman, as here comes Martin Palm once again on Hardwick. That's not going to work. We saw Palm doing that with Martin Jones, but he managed to get to the inside for that corner to try and push him out wide again. Just wasn't in the right place on the track at the right time. As round they come through to stop lap 13, but Oscar is not quite on the racing line on the exit of that. Through goes Martin Palm into 7th position. And that's job done before we even get to turn 1. Good job there by Martin, taking good decisive driving on what looked like a little bit of a mistake. So many different lines the drivers take around here, and you're never quite sure which one's right and which one's wrong. As further back, Ryan Walker under attack from Ehab Abbas, 11th and 12th positions. Rainer Mura has already found his way through, and it does look like a matter of time before Ehab has a go. And there he is having a go. Not quite sure what was going on there, but Ehab managing to scoop that one up. I think he's gonna struggle. As look at Ehab bouncing across the curbs. That's dangerous stuff, because you just need to hit one of those wrong and you are off ski. Tyrone Frith has been lapped now for TTF after his misdemeanours. That won't help him out at all. I don't think Abbas has got anything to do. Someone's off, or someone's changing position. It's Oscar Hardwick in 7th, battling with Adrian McNaughton once again, 7th and 6th position, and Oscar's through. Down the inside of Adrian, who's got a little bit of a tank slapper on the exit, and that's going to allow Martin Palm half a sniff. And out he gets with his witchy nose, and he's got the brew going. Is he going to try and go around the outside? McNaughton late on the brakes, nearly pushing Hardwick through that corner. Things starting to get a little bit more hasty up front. Martin Jones starting to get his little yellow tootsies dabbling in it too now. These lot now 23 seconds off the leader as they come through on lap 14, starting to come up to the time where if you're going to be two-stopping, you're going to be looking at pitting anytime soon, as Paul Huggett in 23rd position spun off the track. He's going to get that going again. There's who's that? Having problem, that's Adrian McNaughton, not quite staying on the black stuff. Somehow has recovered it, but I think that's going to allow Martin Palm to go through. Indeed it does. Can McNaughton be last of the late breakers and try and squeeze it back through on the inside? Indeed he's having a go. But Palm's going to cling on round the outside. That may give him the inside line for the next corner. Side by side they go. Palm pushes McNaughton out wide, and that's going to allow Martin Jones a quick sneakeroo through. It's nifty stuff. Secret yellow. Adrian McNaughton is half thinking about pitting there, I think, but didn't. Continues on his way. This is going to be the next lap, I think, will be the one that will start to reveal exactly what people are up to. Martin Jones then up to 8th position. And I think that's kind of sorted out a lot of people there. Tom Ely still leading there by 4 seconds from Gagzella. They've got Stuart Fleming lapped in between them. That'll do. Ilja Bacalo is 3rd. Borna Spoljaric still keeping a watching brief for him in 4th. Mark Jones is 5. Oscar Hardwick reeling him in 6th. Martin Palm is 7. Martin Jones is 8. Adrian McNaughton all over the shot in 9th position. I think he caught himself out there on the exit of that turn. With Reinu Muru 10. Ryan Walker's 11. Ehab Abbas, I think, has just been off the track and has dropped down to 12th. George Talbot is 13th. Jan Hacks 14, ahead of Mark McNaughton, who's just disposed of Liam Fassam, although they're still very close, 15th and 16th position. Liam Fassam having a half a go back through, but not being able to sort that one out. Paul Joseph is 17th, with Melvin Garland 18, with James Ross right with him in 19th position. Good little scrap going on there. So James Ross was one of our stars of the debutants last time out, and he's going to be one, I think, that will do there as they struggle to keep it on the black stuff. Someone's off the track. Oh no, it's Liam Fassam overtaking Mark McNaughton for 15 and 16. But those two continue their battle. Whoopke Hoekstra still going, 20th and a lap down, ahead of Stuart Fleming by a couple of seconds. Tyrone Frith is 22nd, and Paul Huggett still going in 23rd. And Tyrone Frith very much getting in the way of Mark Jones as he's being lapped, and that's allowed Oscar Hardwick to close right up onto him. As Ehab Bass then, our first man into the pits from P16, and he's the only one doing it, so that could very well be an interesting one. 8.4 seconds on the pit stop, as I don't know what Whoopke Hoekstra was doing, but I think he thought Stuart Fleming was lapping him because he just moved over to let him through and has just realised he's lost the position. Whoops, that's not going to work out well at all. So here comes Hardwick in 5th position, diving through on Mark Jones, and he's got him up into 5th. Can Mark Jones do anything for it? No, he can't. Ely goes round for another lap, as does Gagzella, as does Bracalo and Spoljaric. And Hardwick and Jones continue on as well. Jones feeling the need to run out wide, and George Talbot has just crashed it out, I think. Or has he? Yeah, he's crashed it and parked. So George Talbot out from 13th position after a difficult evening. No, that's Mark Jones out. Martin Palm then Martin Jones, Adrian McNugget, (9). Rainer Murrow is in 10, with Walker, Hack, Fassam, Mark McNaughton having a go back at Liam, but nothing doing that time by. Ehab Abbas rejoined in 16th position. So let's see exactly what that strategy will make for him, because he appears to be the odd one out. Everyone else is going for it. Let's have a look at P8 and 9. As they get round Tyrone Frith to lap him. I thought that might have been an opportunity. Indeed it will be, because Martin Jones has run out wide. Adrian McNaughton goes out wider onto the grass to try and get through. Oh, he's flashed him. I think he said sorry there, mate, and has let him go through there. Good stuff by the McNugget as he continues round, dipping his lights like he's in some kind of salsa dip by the looks of it, as they come round the last couple of corners. Very brave, or very gentlemanly like. Nice to see some gentleman racing in the Gentleman's Racing Club. I like that a lot. Is that someone in the pits? No, it's not. As it doesn't look like anyone else is coming in. So yeah, Ehab, you're on your own, mate. P16, let's see what his first lap time is round. Well, I'll have a look at it when he crosses the line. Let's see what he's up to. see if it's actually going to help him or not. Aside from that, it looks as though people are starting. Oh wait, for 9th they're at it again with Martin Jones up against Adrian McNaughton. It's good to see the Union Motorsport team nice and deep into the top 10. Our little unsung team of the midfield. Ooh, McNaughton. Getting nice and close. Ehab Abbas came out with a 125.965. If I verse that against what Tom Ely's up to, this is 126.569. So he's not looking too bad. As in comes Jones. He's our first one to come in, and that's a bit before its time. I think if it's a one-stop, it'll be a very early one. If it is, you can still tank it up and try and get to the end. I think it will depend. Normally about 25-26 laps of fuel, depending on how stompy you are on the foot. And also, imagine how much weight you've got on your car as well. As they come out, and where's Jones going to filter in? It looks as though he's going to beat Liam Fassam out. It's a tricky exit and entry here. We've seen people spin off in previous ones, as Whoopke Hoekstra has binned it from 21st position. There's someone else in as well. Jan Hack is in from 16th position, part of his Hack attack. And where has Jones? Yeah, Jones has come out in 11th. He's beat Liam Fassam and Mark McNaughton out. That's going to be key for him. He doesn't want to get caught up in other people's battles, and that will work quite nicely. As someone swapped positions, it's Martin Palm has passed Mark Jones for 6th and 7th positions. That was while they were lapping Paul Huggett. So let's see what's going on there. Oh wow, if we take a replay of that, Martin Palm diving in between Paul Huggett and Mark Jones. Great move by Martin Palm. I often say he's a steady and sure fast one, but that shows that Martin Palm has definitely got some balls to put to the walls as he comes down into some of these tighter corners. Great move there. Also of interest, Borna Spogliaric has closed back in on Ilja Bracalo. So still a good 7/10 between them, but that's much closer than what he has been as they come up to the pitted Jan Hack. And don't forget, Tom Ely is still only 3.5 seconds behind Emmanuel Gagzella, so he's not thrown away. So, oh sorry, I meant in front. I knew what I meant. Having a blonde moment, don't mind me. As who's that? That's Ryan Walker's into the pits from, or exiting the pits from 14th, 15th position. He's going to be now as they come across the line. So that's the next one in. So slowly but surely they're filtering through. Ely and Gazella though go round for another run as they start their 21st lap. So they're on their half distance lap. So that makes their qualifying laps even more impressive, the fact that they were heavy on fuel. Bracalo and Spogliaric continue round, as does Oscar Hardwick. That's James Ross is in 19th, so he's into the pits. Palmer still 6th, Jones still 7, Adrian McNaughton down in 8th, and he's been dropped, hasn't he? So it's not worked out well for him. Must have made a mistake somewhere around there. Reino Muru up to 9. And a pitted Martin Jones looking quite nifty now in 10th. So, with the fresher tyres, could be working quite nicely. He's got a Liam Fassam 11, Paul Joseph in 12 and Mark McNaughton 13. They're having a good little squabble. Ehab Abbas, who has pitted, already up to 14th. And he's going to be hoping that some of these people peel off, or at least he can get through. In fact, Ehab Abbas, plenty of traffic up ahead in P14. First up is Mark McNaughton. And this will be interesting, new tyres versus old. And this is always the problem. You may gain extra obviously in the tyres when you do pit, as Mark McNaughton goes well off deep into the corner, and that should gift Abbas the position. Indeed it does. What is he doing? Someone get him the orienteering map as Mark McNaughton rejoins back in 14th, just ahead of Ryan Walker, who was also pitted. But yeah, Ehab he's effectively leapfrogged Ryan Walker because they were battling for position. So it's already worked out for Ehab, but it's just whether or not it's worked out enough, as Paul Joseph for 11th dives past Liam Fassam, who drops down to 12th. That's Ehab Abbas's next target. So it's working out nicely for him, as none of the other leaders look like they are pitting. No, they're not. Oh, Oscar Hardwick's in from 8th. So he's our first top gun in. And let's see where he's going to come out in respect to Martin Jones. He should be ahead because he was beforehand anyway, and indeed he is, as he comes out just alongside Tyrone Frith down in 9th position. Martin Jones is just turning onto the home straight, so still keep an eye out for Martin Jones, because I think this is going to work out potentially quite well for him, at least to begin with. As who's that in? That's Paul Joseph into the pits from 14th place. So that removes one more person for Ehab. Next up for him, Liam Fassam. Paul Huggett goes 3 laps down. And let's take a quick look then at the battle for 3rd and 4th. Goes Torrent Motorsport Mobile meets Torrent Motorsport, IP4. As they continue their scrapperoo. Across the line they go. Elian Gagzella continues as Borna goes lawn mowing. Nice and deep into the turns. That'll do them quite nicely as they continue off and away. Ely now 4.7 clear of Gagzella. Gagzella, I think, losing time now with a little bit of back markers, and maybe Gagzella famously quite hard on tyres because he's got a very flamboyant driving style. Maybe he's starting to feel the pain. We're past halfway now. Melvin Garland going supersonic speed of sound according to our stuff on there. Never mind. Still got 21 drivers running. Paul Huggett is 3 laps down, but he's still going strong. Needs one more retirement, and that will pop him into a points-paying position. As who is that? That's Ryan Walker pushing past Mark McNaughton for 13th and 14th position down a straight. Not quite sure what Mark McNaughton was up to there, but through goes the Scots. And that is Liam Fassam in 14th place, off ski. And let's see what happened to him. That would be down into turn 1. He smacks the outside curb and then just pirouettes off into the inside. Gets back going again in 14th position, but that's going to seriously hamper Liam's up till then very decent drives. That's a real shame there for Liam Fassam, but he's back going at least. Let's see, that might be a good time to pop into the pits. Of course, you may want to see whether or not you want to turn the damage on or off, because damage is going to keep you in the pit times longer, and if you don't think that the car is that badly damaged, maybe worthwhile turning it off to see what you can do, as Bacalo continues to withstand all the pressure that is being shoved in the way of Borna Spoljaric on lap 24 of 42. Still neither have pitted. And Borna getting ever increasingly ominous in Bracalo's rear end. As Tom Ely continues to go round for another lap, as does Gagzella. And let's see what these lot are up to. Not too long now before the actual cars themselves will run out of fuel. I'd have thought about another 2, 3, 4 laps tops, I'd have thought. Someone is off. What's that? Oh, it's Liam Fassam's in from 15th position. And Mark McNaughton off in 16th place, just rejoining. He's having a real torrid couple of laps, so that's not helped him out at all. As Stuart Fleming off the track too in 20th position, as he's limping around, I think, to the pits. So a few drivers feeling the pain, as is Paul Huggett off the track in 21st, doing a bit of rallycross, and he's got to be careful because he's about to spin back in front of Ehab Abbas, but he holds that one off. as Reinu Muru pops into the pits from 9th position. So that's another one of our top 10 in. Reinu Muru pretty much in a race all of his own. So he's doing not too bad though, because he's the heaviest man out there. 1.5 second stop. Martin Jones has already gone through, so he's down to 10, and he's going to get out just ahead of Ehab Abbas, or is he? It's going to be close. Reinu Muru rejoins onto the track just ahead of Ehab. And well, that shows that actually, after all that, they were pretty much line astern when they came into the pits, and Ehab was the first person to pit in. That's not worked out well at all, and if Ehab Abbas does not have enough fuel to get to the finish, because we think it's going to be extremely tight, this could be not a good strategy call, as once again all the leaders seem to be going through for another lap as they start lap 26 of 42. Who else is that? That's Mark McNaughton into the barriers and out of the race from 17th position. And well, a strange little wenge there. It seems like he'd done a pirouette spin and then just reversed back into the barriers and went, I'm alright. Please bless me. Thank you very much. Oh dear. If it's not coming out of one orifice this weekend, it's coming out of the other. Oh. One recovery later. Onwards and upwards. Tom Healy's still going. Let's see if he's in this time round. No, bugger me. Going around again. Manuel Gaxella 4 seconds behind, constantly Yoros. Who kind of had the little Omani. Let's see what's going on between Bracalo and Spoljaric, because they've got Melvin Garland that they're about to lap, and they're going to come across him in the most awkward place possible. Melvin does his best to get out of the way there, and does so very nicely indeed. Good driving for him in only his 2nd or 3rd Grand Prix. And they're both through as well. And Martin Palm. I think everyone's got an allergy to the pits. So they're going to have to do it soon. Adrian McNaughton looked like he was going to be pitting until it realised that it was probably actually a half spin before he actually came in there. Yeah, so Oscar Hardwick 54 seconds off the leader. Let's see what lap time he's just done as he crosses the line. He'd done his fastest lap 2 laps ago, 1:25.285. This time round is a 1:25.522. So if I look at that, regardless to the Bracalos, they're in a 26.6s, 26.2s. He's gaining, isn't he, on lap times? As who was that flying around? That's Melvin Garland. So Garland there not doing his plight any good either. But Tyrone Frith is in from 17th position, so he's the last of the 1 lap. In fact, he just goes 2 laps down now, and Stuart Fleming flies through. So at least he's going on. Paul Huggett now 4 laps down, but still going, and he's going to get into a points paying position very soon, so don't give up, Huggy. Let's see what's going to happen with them this time round. They've got to start pitting as a top 4 continue round. Martin Palm decides to go in though from 5th position, as so does Mark Jones. He's in from 6th, so 2 of them are deciding to go in, and Adrian McNugget continues on. So unfortunately he's not ready for the oven for a quick toasting over as Jones and Palm pops in. At least there's not going to be any face palms on Martin's strategy. 5.4 seconds there for Mr. Palm. Obviously no damage whatsoever. And that was nifty. I wonder if he didn't bother with tyres or anything. He just came in, fueled it, and off he went. And he rejoins behind Oscar Hardwick, which is where it should be. But that gap, I think, is slightly bigger than what it was previously. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all comes into effect. So Hardwick leaps Palm. Mark Jones is out in 8th, so that's not too bad. Tom Ely goes round again. This could be unwise, potentially, as does Gaxella. I'm getting a little bit worried. Bracalo and Spoljaric just negotiating Thrift for a 2nd time. Wow, I'm quite surprised at how long these cars have managed to eke their fuel out. They shouldn't have been necessarily able to go this far. I'd have thought they must be right on the limit. As Huggett now moves up into 20th position, going past the stricken Mark McNaughton car. So as we continue to look, who else has got, who is in there? Someone's in, oh, it's Paul Huggett's in from 20th position. He's now pitting, but not the first time. As who's that? Oh, good battle for 17th and 18th between Melvin Garland and Liam Fassam, the two red line teams, sister teams. And Fassam has been the quicker of the two, but he's been the one that's been in the barriers, and so I think that's why it's been a problem. And Ryan Walker's coming around to try and lap them. Maybe going to pay attention to the blue flag, as it's an entirely different matter. As Ely goes round again. But Gagzella is taking a different racing line. No, he's not in either. Nuts. Liam Fassam, they're not quite getting a good exit. So Melvin Garland keeps hold of 17th for 9. My cameraman just whispered in my ear, are they running round on solar panels? As Ilja Bracalo bucks the trend and is in, and that was very tight to the line there. Let's see how quick his stop may be. Adrian McNaughton continues on and will move up into 4th position. Bracalo's going down the stops. Oscar Hardwick's coming round the final corner now. This will be the telltale sign as to who gets out in front of who, because Bracalo was ahead of Hardwick before the pit stops. There goes Jan Hack and James Ross. They're battling for position. And Hardwick dives through, so that's win there for Hardwick in terms of strategy. Bracalo goes through. Fantastic scrap going on with Ross and Hack just up ahead of them in 14th and 15th. They're going to have to bend out of the way to allow these leaders through, as that looked like all different battles kicking off all at once. As finally Tom Ely pops into the pits, and let's finally see what happens there. Gagzella's in as well. So this appears to be the one. Spoljaric going 1 lap extra. Can that be the difference between him and getting ahead of the good old Ilja Bracalo? 6 seconds for Ely. Not too much different there for Gagzella as they rejoin. Spoljaric is in as well from 3rd position, and so close to the line. So we shall soon see. Tom Ely then rejoins in the lead. Gagzella keeps his 2nd. Adrian McNaughton goes round again. God knows how he's managing that one. He moves up into 3rd for the time being. 4.9 seconds for Bullner so far, so that's good for him. Oscar's coming down the home straight. This is going to be extremely tight once again as Bullner Spoljaric floors it on the exit. What's going to happen? Oscar's coming down into the braking area. They're going to meet side by side. There's going to be contact between the two if they're not careful, and just about Bullner Spoljaric clings on to 4th position, just ahead of Oscar Hardwick, who's on the much fresher tyres. This is going to be the one that's going to decide exactly what's going to happen, because if Oscar can just get through on the warmer tyres, that'll be his best opportunity. We don't think Bullner changed tyres at all, so he's still going to be in the old ones, which could be quite helpful in one way, but it may make him a little bit harder come the end of the race if he's got quite a bit of tyre wear. Oscar diving in for the inside, and he's straight on harassment. Palm is out in 7th. Mark Jones was out in 8th ahead of Martin Jones and Reinu Muru. So no changes back there. Hardwick going for the outside line there. That's not going to be the way through, but Bullner has gone in very, very deep, and that's going to allow Hardwick a go. Bullner's going for the inside line the next corner round to try and hog the quickest way through and try and block every overtaking line, which you can do around those last couple of corners if you position it right, just like what Spoljaric Adrian McNugget continues round another lap. God knows how he's stretching that fuel out. Hats off to him. Let's hope he doesn't conk out. Hardwick going for the outside. Borna goes in deep. He's got wheels on the curb. And look at Ilja. Don't write him off. He'll throw one up the inside as soon as you could say the word sneaky squirrel as they come out of the first couple of turns. And once again there, Oscar having a good old go back through. Don't get Ilja. Martin Palm 3.5 seconds further back, not quite included in this battle just yet, but don't count him out. And what are they all doing as they go 3 in a line out into the back straight? And who's going to peep in which direction this time round? Borna doing a little bit of a squiggle across the middle of the track, trying to see which line he wants to go for. Hardwick much better on the mid corner around some of these turns, but it's just about holding on. Hardwick a bit wiggly on the exit, but he's held it all together, and Bracalo just waiting for it all to go wrong. Adrian McNaughton in the pits this time, and actually he's done a very quick stop. Back out again, but Martin Palm's going through, and if anything, Adrian McNaughton is going to end up behind Mark Jones. In fact, as he's just rejoining in 7th, that's Mark Jones going through in 8th, and yeah, Adrian McNaughton's going to rejoin all on his own in 8th position, well clear of Martin Jones in 9th. Could leave him potentially with a good little charge towards the end. There's Ilja Bracalo causing trouble. Tom Ely 10 seconds clear of Gaxella now. So he is romping away up front, and Gaxella's a whole 19 seconds ahead of this little squabble. The 3rd, 4th and 5th. Of course, they're on the slim fast diet. And look at that, Borna, struggle. Out wide, this is going to be Oscar's chance. You could see his car just starting to slip away through his fingertips as the grip starts to slowly fade with that heavy weight. But he's holding on valiantly. Hardwick's going to have a go. Tyrone Frith is up ahead, about to become their next victim. Borna holds the inside line. Hardwick a little bit skiddy into the corner. Bracalo says, I'm having enough of that, and stays back. Wise thinking there, Ilja. Pick up the pieces, my friend, as they come round this long old right-hander. Ooh, Bracalo. It does worry me, that racing line, as Tyrone gets out the way but decides to park it on the racing line. Very difficult, and that's pushed Hardwick off onto the grass. That's going to allow Borna a split second of breathing space for him to recoup. Stuart Fleming's just crashed out from 18th position, so unfortunate end for the new leveraged team core. Obviously needs a little bit of iron brew so that they can recoup themselves for last time, as Oscar once again runs out wide. Seems to be a popular thing to do round that corner on lap 35 of 42 that they'll be starting once they cross the line. So 7 more to go. Barely seen anything of our leader, but he's definitely romping away. Gaxella 9 seconds behind. Spoljaric, Oscar, Hardwick and Ilja Bracalo all half a minute off our leader. And Hardwick, they're running out onto the grass. Such was his momentum coming across the start-finish line. Borna goes for the inside. The good thing about this track, although Borna is struggling to keep it inside the restraints of the tarmac, is that there's so many different lines that you can take around some of these corners, as Oscar's gone for the inside, demonstrating one of the many of them. Oh! Bounceroo! Ho ho ho! I bet his bollocks alert after that. Spoljaric! Ooh! Crikey! They're all getting a little bit hydramaflimapip as they go over some of these curbs in a bouncy fashion. But as they're saying, that the racing lines that you can take, there's so many different ones, and they're not necessarily faster or slower than the others, but there's just so many different ones that you can take, and everyone's too busy trying to work out which one's best for that specific point in time. And Spogliak's going to go for the inside one this time round. Hardwick pushed out wide. Bracalo fancying a nose that time round. This is the closest battle still out on track at the moment, so we're not going to cut away from this for the time being. As they come round across the line once again, Spogliak kicking up a little bit of dirt. They've completed 35 of the 42 laps, 6 more to go, including the one they're on. So exciting, I might have slightly pooed myself. Yeah, definitely literally, oh dear. Anyway, for Ely, 8.8 his gap now. Gaxella not really closing in. Borner's got a small little bit of a gap because Oscar's having to look in his rear, and look at Martin Palm four-wheel drifting out of that corner just behind them. I don't think he's quite done yet, and look at Ilja there getting a bit muscly on the inside, and he's going to hit him again on the outside. Hardwick just about able to keep it all together. Bracalo backs out as Paul Huggett gets so far off the racing line he's in Narnia as they come through to the next couple of corners. Closely does it. Palm, I wouldn't reckon him off just yet either, because he's losing them in. He's just 1.3 behind Bracalo. Plenty of time to do some damage. And the next couple of corners. And yep, Borner's got some breathing. There we are, popping on board with Ilja, who's drifting round that corner. Someone should tell him it's not Need for Speed. Gymkhana Bracalo. Just running down the rest of the order while you're watching this. Palm 6, Mark Jones 7, McNaughton is 8, Adrian. Martin Jones 9, Rainer Muru's 10, doing well despite a hefty amount of weight. The other Bass is 11, Ryan Walker still unlapped is 12, then 1 lap down Paul Joseph, James Ross, Jan Hack, Liam Fassam, Melvin Garland and Tyrone Frith. The last 3 of those are 2 laps down. Paul Huggett still going 5 laps adrift, and he'll be 19th once he completes this lap. So all going well for those. That's the 19 runners and riders still remaining. I don't know how Bracalo can actually keep that car on the track. It's not how I would be able to set my car up to deal with. I like mine to be all pointy and angular. As Hardwick has pulled away from Bracalo slightly and is now back onto the back of Mr. Spag Bolognesiarek. Immediately straight back on the attack. Nothing changing between the leaders up front. Dog with bone is what I would call Mr. Hardwick at the moment. It doesn't look as though Martin Palm is able to do anything about them, to be fair. He's kind of pegged the gap between him and Bracalo at about 1.3 seconds, but he's not able to dent into it until these 3 start to have a proper scrap and start holding each other up. But should the pieces all fall apart, he'll be there to pick them up and put a jigsaw together. And that jigsaw could very well mean 3rd place if they all do something proper Sato Kamikaze style. out the final corner. What can he do this time round? Lap 39 of 42 they're starting. Down to the outside. Spogliaric's seen that one before. He's got it covered, but he's doing the worst way of trying to do it as Hardwick nearly jumps into his boot for a cool bag picnic by the sides of it. He's bought the potted meat sandwiches if Borna's bought the Tupperware baskets. So come around the next couple of corners, Borna running out wide into the tight line of the next corner, and Ilja worryingly now menacingly peering down on them, and Ilja, different line altogether, nearly smacking poor old Hardwick on the exit there as the three of them start to get a little bit more leery. A little bit of contact between Hardwick and Spogliaric, and they just about keep it all together. Both Spogliaric and Bracalo out over the curb, clinging on to the extreme outer limits of the track. And what fantastic action this has been from start to finish between these drivers. Martin Palm, now that they're busy battling each other, is starting to become a force, I think, as he clings onto the back. Oscar's got a good run on the inside. Is he going to leave himself much room? Ooh, Borna has to run out wide. That's going to allow Hardwick a good run side by side, just a tenth between them as they cross the start-finish line. Spogliaric's got more straight line speed by the looks of it, and he keeps the inside line for turn 1 and 2. Hardwick taps the back of Spogliaric. There's no way of getting through. Bracalo inches onto the slipstream of the pair of them. Hardwick's going to try and dive on the inside with his much tighter lines round these right-hand kinks. Such close racing between the lot. Yeah, there's a TMO sandwich going on here as Ilja desperately tries to hang on, and look at Martin Palm immediately onto the aggressive there of Bracalo. Backs out of it though as they come flying over the line. Palm, my goodness, bumping over those curbs like a nutter in a fairground as they come flying through, and this could actually work to Hardwick's advantage because now Bracalo can't just attack, he's got to look at defending too as Hardwick puts a wheel on the grass. No one of the changes going on up and down the field. Everyone else now pretty much static as they flollop across the lines. Ryan Walker's gone a lap down in 11th as Hardwick, Spogliaric, Bracalo and Palm go toe to toe. We've got 2 more laps to go, this one included. All or nothing. Yeah, he's doing very good. He's run out a bit wide there and he got a wheel on the curb, but then put it onto the grass, so he's done well to defend that one. Ooh, bit heavy on the brakes, as was Bracalo. Those two seem to have a completely different racing line at the moment because of their defensive actions. And look at Palm to getting his fist in on the mix. As here comes Hardwick through on the inside, and that's going to be a bump and grind to the outside for Spogliaric. Hardwick dives through on the inside. Spogliaric is now going to keep himself down on the inside and then just push the Englishman out wide and then cover the line for the next corner, and that would be the way how I would do it anyway if I had any of the vague skills. Cut across and hold the racing line for this bit here, and he's done so. Hardwick has to back out. Bracalo nearly dives into his bumper, and Martin Palm is busy on the grass once again as these four come round to start their final lap. What's going to happen down into turn 1, as it looks like Bracalo is going to have a last of the late breakers lunge down into turn 1, and he's going to do it. He's gone way through. Hardwick goes off wide. Bracalo's onto the grass, and is he going to hold onto it? Just about. There's contact between Hardwick and Bracalo. Bracalo goes off. Palm goes up into 5th. Hardwick keeps his 4th position. Bracalo's spinning around like a top. He's got plenty of time to keep his 6th position, but that's not the way he would have wanted that to end. What a shame as Palm then starts to harass the back of Hardwick, who's lucked into 5th position. What an unfortunate end. Hardwick's gone off! He's buckling under the pressure, and yoink goes Martin Palm up into 4th position. That's worked out perfectly for him. Let's jump to the leader though, because Tom Ely's coming around the final corner. We've barely seen him all race long. He's been like some kind of Covert and Frank motorised version as he comes across the line to win the endurance race here at GRC Season 12 at Livet Glen. Fantastic driving by Tom Ely. Well-deserved victory. Second will be Emmanuel Gagzella. He's done very well for Storm Racing. Best result I think that he's had in a long while. Third, coming round, and a good save considering he didn't think he'd get a top 6 for Borna Spoljaric, followed home very closely by his ever-present teammate Martin Palm, who just sat and picked them all off. Jaws-esque. Oscar Hardwick, 5th position. Not bad for a newbie. I'm sure he'll be back for more. 6th, Phil Gibricalo. Unfortunate for him. After that spin, he had a mini spin and it all went a bit horribly wrong there. 7th will be Mark Jones, who done so well earlier on actually, and good 7th still though for a Giro Racing. Adrian McNaughton crumbs home in 8th. Just a second behind him. He was closing him in quite nicely, was Adrian, so that last late pit stop nearly working to his advantage. Martin Jones grabs 9th with Reinu Muru rounding out top 10. Ryan Walker a lap down in 11th. We have a Bass a lap down 12th. Paul Joseph 13th with James Ross 14th. Jan Hack just coming across the line to finish 15th, a lap down. Then 2 laps down, Liam Fassam. Melvin Garland crosses the line for some points, as does Tyrone Frith. And 6 laps down, grabbing 2 points there, Paul Huggett, well done. Our retirement, Stuart Fleming crashed it out, as did Mark McNaughton. Whoopke Hoekstra did the same on lap 16. George Talbot spun it off on lap 15. Stephen Boniface into the barriers on lap 7. Yuri Luckersmans off in lap 3, and Cole Shaw didn't even make it round lap 1 before he binned it into the barriers. And that's your lot. Well done for Tom Ely. Good return to GRC for some good old nifty results there. Oh. Well, if you fancy getting involved in the action, don't forget to pop over to rfgrc.co.uk and sign yourself up. We've got the league control over there for you to get involved. We've got the forums, of course. If you just fancy sitting back, chilling and relaxing and watching some fantastic action just like that, we're at the Autodrome Jiménez Rodriguez. That was a bit French for a Mexican. And we're back to our normal 3 sprint races. Oh yes, I do like this circuit actually, and it's the fastest one of the calendar, bar Monza. And we're taking a week's break. We won't be here for Easter Monday. We'll be back on April the 16th, 8:15 PM British Standard Time. Adjust your clocks and sets regardless. Great to see some new people in the chat room. Sorry I didn't get a chance to chat to you all today. I was feeling a bit under the weather, but we made it through somehow. Thank you very much to our sponsor, IP Forge, of course. Thank you very much to cameraman extraordinaire Simon Melhuish, who has also done some fantastic adminning work this evening. My name's Simon Smith. You take care of yourselves, and happy setuping. Toodle pips.